He served over 30 years for a murder he didn't commit, but has turned a tragedy into a triumph through art. His name is Oba Obeah. But first, Margaret Clark, president of the Family First Child Care and Enrichment Center, explains their mission and how they are making a difference by filling in the gaps in childhood learning. Open Door with Vince Robinson starts right now. Welcome to Open Door, Michele Clark. She is the president of the Family First Child Care and Enrichment Center, and from what I can see, they are doing some very significant things in Cleveland. Welcome to Open Door.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vince, for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Okay. So tell us about the Family First Child Care and Enrichment Center. Exactly what are you doing there?
Well, glad you asked. Family First Child Care Center is a licensed child care facility that provides quality care from 6 weeks up to 12 years of age. It's a project-based learning curriculum. That's what we do everything around project-based learning. And that's inclusive of the creative arts, fine arts. We teach them in our after-school program, financial literacy, African dance. We do virtual learning support. We have a sewing program there, a physical fitness program as well. Once they complete that program or once they age out or cannot continue at the center any longer, it is our hope that those children stay with us and enter into our Family First Village. And that Family First Village piece is for the children 13 years old and older.
Okay, so at what age are you beginning to work with the children?
6 weeks. 6 weeks, infants.
Okay.
Little bitty babies.
This is a far-ranging mission then.
Yes, it is, because we believe in, of course, we would like to get the children as young as we possibly can, but we want to be there for every stage of a child's life, because we know that if we train up a child in the way they should go, they will not depart from it. So we try to have something for every child, every child's stage of life, from infancy, up to adolescence.
Okay. Give us an idea of the numbers of children that you're working with.
Well, our center can hold 256 children. That's what we're licensed to take care of because of all what's going on with this COVID-19 situation. We currently are hovering around 140 children, and that is just the child care portion. The family village piece, children are in and out of that program, and that's about 60 or so that we're serving right now.
Okay. And why do you see a need to provide the types of services that you're providing now?
Well, the whole thing was birthed out of me being a foster parent for lots of years, and when one of the children that I was caring for was not adopted and stayed with me for a long period of time. When she got old enough, when she turned 18, they came and said, well, now it's time for her she can, go move out on her own and this and that. And I just felt that, she wasn't ready. It was like she still needed the support. And that made me birth this family for life concept, because we felt that, we as people, all of us, we need a family for life, not just, a few years or they need families for life. So this whole daycare model, as well as children's enrichment piece, will give them that support all the way up until adulthood. And we even have a piece where the training and the support turns into employment, hopefully.
Okay. I'm looking at the literature that you sent me, and I can see that there's a cultural aspect to your mission. It mentions that you teach the African concept of Ubuntu. Could you talk about
Yeah,
what that means and how it is worked into what you do?
for sure. Ubuntu means I am because we are. So we want to. That's that village concept I was talking about. Once you are 13 and of age and moving into your teen years, going into young adulthood, um, we feel that the professional community, our professional partners who are a part of our organization, which serve as the village, because these are the professionals that are mentoring, using their gifts and talents to pour back into our children. So if you were a dancer or an author or are a print master, all these things that we offer now, we have authors that come back and teach the print master program to these children. We believe that they will become, because of the things of the adults and what they're doing. And we believe that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes all of us to put in our gifts and talents, pour that into the children so that they can become all that they can possibly be.
Okay. Can you talk about who some of your partners are?
Sure. Well, Passages, I'll start with them. One of, if not the largest fatherhood initiative program in Northeast Ohio. They have come alongside of us, and we are doing some joint ventures as far as programming for fathers that are having obstacles putting their children in child care for reasons, maybe financial reasons or whatever. They have resources available for these fathers to still enroll their children. And our other partners are Torah Decor, which teaches about visual therapy. And then we have Barclay Jones Realty, which gives children, gives them information on the importance of home ownership and building wealth through ownership of their own home. Our partners are God's Music and Media Studios, which they are a company that does podcasting and broadcasting. So we have a show called Kids TV, which is a podcast that'll be airing real soon. They're shooting those things with the children that do attend and want to participate. It's a new show that they film, and they're the hosts, and they're also the guests. That's a real fun thing. And then we have our partner, Family for Life Printing, which is a print master program teaching the children about how to make books, how to put their thoughts into writing, and then be able to, we have the equipment in-house to print them and bind them and learn how to cut and do all those things to hopefully spark them to want to be authors or print masters. Then we have Service Heart, which is a healthcare agency that it kind of gives the children a feel of what it's like to be in the healthcare industry. And then Trinity Training Center, which also gives them that same kind of feel. They have free home health aid. It's a free home health aid program that it also has a young adult teen program, which kind of gives them the experience, hands-on experience, to see how it would be to be a home health aide. So these are some of the partnerships. I hope I didn't forget anybody that all are a part of our program, and they bring those gifts and talents to our center and expose the children to all these various industries.
Okay.
And then it's our hope that through the entrepreneurship program that we have, that they convert that energy to their own businesses.
Okay. And what kind of support are you getting from the community? Are you receiving funding from any of the nonprofit sources of funding? How are folks supporting your mission?
Well, we are blessed that the mentors, of course, are sharing their gifts and talents, but unfortunately, we don't have any, right now, we don't have any other funding besides, of course, the children that are enrolled in the child system and are receiving these things through most of our children on vouchers. But we do need funds to help sustain what we're trying to do, the system that we're trying to create, taking the children from infancy all the way up to young adulthood, and then hopefully they're converting this energy to go to college or to own their own business or be a productive employee.
Okay, so is there a way that folks in the community who are now aware of what you're doing and what your mission is, that they can give you financial support?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to give you our email address where you can email us and ways that you can mail us. Of course, you can always mail us support through a check made out to Family First. And our address is 4600 Carnegie. That's Cleveland, Ohio, 44103. Or through our website, which is www.familyforlifefoundation.org. Or you can give us a call at 216-417-6724.
Okay, so
417-7624.
That's familyforlifefoundation.org.
Yes, or I'm going to also give you our other email address because we have to, this one may be better for us. Family for Life Enterprise, familyforlifeenterprise@gmail.com.
Okay. Michele Clark, she's president of the Family First Child Care and Enrichment Center. She gave you the information. Make sure you reach out and do what you can to support this very fine effort. We thank you for joining us on Open Door.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Open Door will be right back right here on 95.9 FM WOVU, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. We'll be right back.
In conjunction with Rainbow Terrace and the Box Spot retailers, WOVU 95.9 FM, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station, presents the Box Spot Halloween Candy Kickback, Saturday, October 31st, 12 to 4 p.m. Music by your one and only DJ Chris Styles and DJ Coco Z. Giant haunted houses, tons and tons of free candy, courtesy of the Candy Cupboard and the other Box Spot retailers. Win gift cards for best costume. All ages are welcome to participate. Win Dave's Supermarket gift cards for registered voters. Line dance and twerk to all your favorite songs. Also, must wear masks and social distancing is required because remember, COVID-19 is still out there. Sponsored by Councilwoman Phyllis Cleveland. Citizens for our children's future. PCs for people. Rainbow Terrace. Box Spot. Power CLE. And of course, WOVU 95.9, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Open Door is pleased to welcome Oba Obeah. He is a musician here in the Cleveland area, and as we have discussed, he has done or is doing a number of other things, and we're going to give him an ample opportunity to express all of those things. Welcome to Open Door, Oba.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I'll be transparent as I usually try to do. I was scrolling through my Facebook feed, and I saw a post that you put up, and I've been aware of you for a while, but we hadn't really connected. So I wanted to take this opportunity to connect with you and find out more about this person that I see who is calling himself today Oba Obeah. You are a musician, so first of all, talk to us about the music that you're involved with and tell us just a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from, how you came up, and all of that good stuff.
All right. Well, I'm a bass guitarist or synth guitarist for the Mind's Eye Ensemble, which is my band. And I play along with Ali Assad, who's an electric percussionist. So what we basically do is play electric, improvised world music. We have a thick Afrocentric, rhythm to begin with. It is rootsy, and we just electrify it, and we, have all elements of music that that just vibe and sort of filter through, from hip hop all the way to, free jazz,
Okay, so you electrify world music.
Yes.
Describe what that means. How can we conceptualize what you're speaking of?
You'd almost have to marry different genres together if you were to have Fela Kute's Afrobeat meet the sonic electric force of like Jimi Hendrix. Okay. Because this bass that I play, even though it's a bass, is tuned from E to E, just like a regular guitar. So I have the range from octave to octave for the musicians who can follow what I'm saying to stretch out a little bit into guitar levels. So it's there's a lot of dynamics in the music and impressions, and it's colorful as my art is.
Okay. Have you done any recordings that you can share with us?
At the moment, I can. I have things recorded on the Spire Studio. I was recently featured on the Lake Erie Theory a few weeks ago, and we shared some of our recordings with them. But yeah, I'd love to come to the studio and perform for you guys.
Yeah.
Or maybe set something up in my studio where you all could come and we could do it live or something.
Okay. How many do you have in your ensemble?
Okay. It's basically me and my brother Ali, but we looped and have a different dynamic for different songs. And like we usually bring in a featured artist for particular songs, like the one bassist from the Universal Funk Mob band comes in and does Maggot Brain with me, and we're planning on recording it and recording with different people and compiling this into a project, a collective project.
Okay. You mentioned your brother Ali. Who
Yes.
is Ali?
Ali Assad is my biological older brother, who is a major musical influence on me. He was a percussionist and a drummer since I could remember. I remember waking up in the summer to his drumming, and we had a friend who was living at the house with us who was a drummer as well. So I knew my brother's drumming distinction from the other drummer. Not that one was better than the other, but they had distinct styles, and I really got into his rhythm. So his drumming DNA is pounded into my head beyond our biological DNA that we share. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So me being a bassist, it was just like the perfect rhythm section, and I have a odd backstory because I was away and spent 33 years in prison. Wrongfully, by the way. I want to make sure that that's clarified over the airwaves. However, we had never got to play together that much as kids coming up, because he was with the older group doing his thing, and I was just learning guitar on my own, and we never really played, and I became a bassist, you know, in the process, and gravitated towards it. And we, not into our older, you know, later years in life, that we, you know, play music together as we do, you know.
Yes, and the marriage of bass and drums is really one of those things that might be taken for granted, but you know the essence of rhythm is what moves us. So when you put the right drums and the right bass together, you know you can't sit still.
Yeah, it's just like the laws of nature, like you know that. Are universal laws, you know, the law of vibration, you know, they, you know, work in unison, the drum and bass. Yes. In a sense.
Right. So you mentioned your brother's name, Ali, and then I'm looking at your name. Could you share with the listening audience the meaning of your name?
Okay. The meaning of my name. Abba is a Hebrew word for father. And Obeah is a form of West African magic. But, you know, in my language and travels, the word magic in its true sense was interchangeable with the word wisdom, you know. And people appeared to be doing magic as we know it in the Western culture of parlor tricks and, you know, sleight of hand. Because the person who knows the trick has the wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you're looking from the outside, looking in, and you're taken in by the wisdom. You know, but even though it might be deceiving to the eye, it's always good to know the truth. And that's where I decided to take that name, because it, you know, the father of wisdom. That's what I aspire for.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier, and I'm not going to gloss over this, that you spent 30 years unjustly away from friends and family, and I'm imagining...
I was incarcerated in the city of Cleveland in 1983 for murder that I was involved in, but I didn't, you know, commit. It's sort of one of like those I shot the sheriff deals. You know, I was there and aware of everything, but you know how there's so many stories that, you know, we have of us, people of color, being wrongfully imprisoned, you know, and like if you don't have like hard DNA evidence or something, like most of the people that get exonerated for these false sex charges and stuff, you know, if you don't have like DNA evidence, you know, you're at the mercy of, you know, whatever shreds of evidence might be there in your case, which in my case, there was none to exonerate me, but, you know, there's still facts of the matter that, you know, were like just blatantly overlooked. And, you know, there's a gross miscarriage of justice that took place. So, you know, I can't be compensated, but I can't be bitter and hollowed out by it either. So that's why I keep the spirit that I do and move on in a positive manner and live up to my name, you know.
Yes.
By making the wisest decisions.
I commend you for that. And I have to ask, were you exonerated?
No, I wasn't.
So you weren't able to receive any compensation for an unjust incarceration?
I should have been released through the Lane decision and the Ancram decision. They denied me both of them. And when I started putting enough heat on them from inside of the prison at every level, they finally sort of spit me out like Jonah got spit out of the whale, you know?
So, so for you to be where you are in terms of your mental headspace, your spirituality, and the positive outlook that I'm hearing from you and the energy that you're giving us, how do you get past spending 30 years of your life knowing that it wasn't correct, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you've paid a heck of a price for it?
I try to use the leverage that no matter how bad my life is, I basically had a lot of things to be grateful for. So that's where I started at, rather than looking at what I didn't have. And I had my health, my sanity, you know what I'm saying? I could, create peace of mind because, like, prison wasn't that difficult a place for me as it is for some people to go in. I mean, I had my trials and tribulations, but, I got through them. And, you move on and you should become stronger with every obstacle you overcome, because you become wiser in the process. And, like, I, sort of use that as my daily, affirmation,
Mm-hmm. So I want to ask this of you in relation to the whole idea of voting, because obviously you weren't able to vote for all that time. And a lot of people don't know, or many people don't know, that even though you have had a felony or whatever, you can actually get back to a position of voting.
Yes.
From your perspective, can you talk about the importance of voting if you see it that way, and why folks should do what they can to protect this important right?
I think that voting is individual choice for people. I know collectively we are all, impacted by whoever is in office due to our likes and how we might benefit from one particular candidate from the next. But I don't see that big a divide between the two personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like picking between the mumps and the measles,
right.
And none of them have served the interests of the black community. And, like, this, issue with Ice Cube, the rapper taking a contract to each of the parties, I think that was a great idea, on our behalf. A lot of people weren't happy with it and tried to lump him into the same category as Kanye West. But, I think we need more Ice Cubes, to change our situation. I have more faith in him than I do the politicians,
Yes.
because they never really served my interests,
Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but we're up against the time that we need to take a break. So we're going to continue our conversation with Oba Obeah. When we come back, you're listening to Open Door Cleveland with Vince Robinson. We'll be right back after these messages.
This program is sponsored by Citizens for Our Children's Future.
Cleveland residents, please support Issue 68. We've seen the graduation rate go up through 80%. We've seen our reading and our math scores increase.
If Issue 68 fails, essential funding runs out, a severe setback for kids.
Cleveland's children, schools, and future go together. That's why it's important that we vote for Issue 68.
Vote for Issue 68. Keep Cleveland kids moving ahead.
Supported by Citizens for Our Children's Future and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
This is Aja Jones,
Tracy Clark,
Kiko,
Yolanda Armstrong,
Brian Webster.
This is T.C. Lewis, and you are listening to WOVU 95.9 FM.
Open Door Cleveland looks at the lives of people here and abroad, navigating the realms of art, culture, and society. I'm Vince Robinson. Tune in for inspired conversation with an array of guests and subject matter experts right here on 95.9 FM WOVU, Monday mornings at 11. Stream us live at WOVU.org or enjoy us live by purchasing the WOVU app from your favorite app store. Open Door Cleveland, Monday mornings at 11 on 95.9 FM WOVU, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. Vince Robinson with Oba Obeah. He is a musician, and he's a few other things that we are definitely going to talk about. Before we took the break, we were talking about the idea of voting, and he mentioned us having to choose between the lesser of two evils. And I understand exactly what you're saying with that, and I've been saying the same thing myself. You also mentioned the effort that Ice Cube has made, and I want to kind of talk about that just briefly, because there's been a little bit of controversy about how things happened and who reached out to who and so forth and so on. What I understood about what he said was that both parties reached out to him. And some of that doesn't make sense because, at least to me, why would the Democrats reach out to him and then tell him, well, we'll talk about it after the election? That doesn't add up to me. But the essence of the whole piece is that it seems as though traditionally the needs of black folks have been glossed over and they have not been met by the Democrats. But they depend on us so vitally to succeed in terms of elections. So if they don't win, they can blame us. And if they do win, they can give us the credit. But in the meantime, we really don't get the things that we need. We had 8 years of President Obama, and, he campaigned on this whole idea of hope.
Yeah.
And then 8 years later, you look at where we actually are, and you don't see a whole lot of improvement. Now, I'm not going to say that President Obama didn't do anything for black people. I'm not going to do that. But, there's reality, and then there's what they tell you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And a lot of people will, defend Barack Obama's, inability to get a lot of things done because he had to rely on a Republican Congress or whatever to pass a lot of things. And, all that's understandable, but I don't understand the position of running to know that you're going to be, met with all of that. That we got to find another way, I think, beyond politics, really, or have a new government overhaul, because Democrat and Republican, we need to get away from that because those are, reasons to divide, when we need to be unifying.
Yes. Well, when you talk about this whole party system, we have Republicans and Democrats. So we essentially have the party, the country divided in half, y'all on this side, we on that side.
States,
right. And
then
you have this notion of a third party coming in, and then you have further division and you have further disagreement. So you have even more reason for things not to work out. But the whole idea that Ice Cube has is that, you have to take us seriously as a block within this whole paradigm, and you have to use that power as leverage to get the things that we need. Yeah, that we need, and not only that we ask for, but there has to get to a point where we demand it. When you look at the nation's deficit, for instance, they've already apportioned it to each of us as individuals. I'm riding up I-77. I see a sign, and it's got the trillions of dollars that comprise the national debt. And then I'm coming up 77 a few days later, and it's got an individual portion of the national debt. So they're saying to me, as a citizen of this country, that your portion of the national debt is over $81,000. This is $81,000 that I owe you just because I'm here. But that's supposed to be my money, The tax dollars are our money, but they decide how to spend it, what to spend it on, and then how much more they want to take of it after they give it to us.
To give themselves a raise and tell us that, you could live with the minimum wage just in place and it's below the poverty level.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So with all that being said, we can safely say that we're getting information and misinformation from entities that don't have our best interests at heart. But in order to counteract those things, we have...
Voting is necessary.
Yes, go ahead, because you already picked up on where I am.
Yeah.
What is the function of the phone?
Necessary evil. It's like if you being hit with someone's got a hammer and it's got a big metal, mallet on the end of it, and it's loose, and you could block their arm to keep the metal from hitting you, and you know that there's just going to be a stick left. So it's better to block that than to take the blows. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's how I look at voting for Biden, because it's the lesser of two evils. It's going to be bad either way.
Okay.
But, you could live with one where the other one might kill you.
Okay. So I think you may have missed what I just shared with you. It was actually a question, and it relates to you being a musician, because I'm talking about counteracting the misinformation and the negativity that we're getting through mainstream media and through, government propaganda and all of that.
Well,
hold up.
Okay.
Hold up. The question is, what is the function of the funk?
The function of the funk.
Yeah. You're tied to or have been a musician with the Universal Funk Mob.
Yes.
And you're doing this music, which I see as a revolutionary endeavor.
Right.
So what
exactly.
is the function of the funk?
Okay, the funk, just like the godfather of the funk, in my opinion, is George Clinton. And he said funk not only moves, but it removes, right? So you have to have something, this ethereal, this, could change forms and deal with the situation that's at hand, because our enemies are elusive. Our all of the warfare that they use against us is on a plethora of levels, you know what I mean? And, the music is, a force that could remove the negative impact of the energy of our circumstance. And that's what my music's about,
Okay. So
I coach spoken word into it, infuse, the energies of the ancestors and try to synthesize it back through me,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're giving George Clinton the title of the godfather of funk.
Yeah, a funk.
As opposed to James Brown.
Yeah, I give James Brown godfather of soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
he's funky.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, as a student of the funk and as a student of music, because I probably have a couple years on you, maybe not.
Yeah, a few.
But when I look at George Clinton and his musical pedigree and his trajectory, I have to give more credit to Bootsy than I would George with funk, because George came from the doo-wop genre. Bootsy came from the James. He came from the James Brown camp into the Parliament Funkadelic era.
Exactly.
And when he came from James's camp, he brought the funk with him, because he brought the principle of the one. Talk about the one.
Oh, I'm very familiar with that.
Okay. Well, tell folks about the one.
The one is where you everybody comes in on the one, and when you come back to the one, if you got 4/4 timing, everybody could do whatever they want in between there, as long as everybody lands on the one, and keeping the music tight. You can't go out of sync. That's why you could dance and when you the music, it's like a template, that you just can't get tired of, because it's so infectious, and yet it's so simple.
Okay.
That's the one.
Okay.
It's taking the complex and making it simple.
Okay.
That's what a genius is. So it makes everybody a genius.
All right. So just so folks can relate to what we're talking about, I want everyone to go through their record collection and pick up the album Uncle Jam Wants You. There's an album cover that has George sitting on one of those chairs that Huey
like
P.
Huey
Newton,
P.
Yeah, back in the day. Right?
Red beret.
And
white glasses.
Right. And
tan khakis.
And my favorite cut from that album was Knee Deep. So think
15 minutes. If I had to dance to that.
Yeah.
today I wouldn't make it.
Well, back in the day, Knee Deep was the song that DJ Lonnie V, because that's who I was back then. I was Lonnie V. That was a song that I would put on. I used to host a show in the Rathskeller at Kent State University, and I think we probably wrapped up somewhere close to midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it was probably close to midnight. But what I would do is I would end my shows with Knee Deep. So they got that full 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, right.
And while the song was on, I would be just imploring them to make sure that they got their studies done. You know, don't be here at Kent State for 10 years. Some of y'all on the 7-year plan. I used to give them all that information in the midst of the funk. But what made it work was the one, because when everybody was on the one, it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of curious about the music. I'm looking forward to hearing it. And I think that there are some possibilities that we can work something out and bring you into Larchmere Art so that we can witness what you guys do. But you also mentioned that you are a visual artist. We have a minute or so before we take our next break. So do you want to talk about what you are involved in artistically in terms of your being a visual artist?
All right. The medium that I mainly work in is sort of mixed, but is more acrylic painting on canvas than anything. I work with sands and glues and push a lot of that stuff in there. I'm not opposed to even going as far as using glitter as long as it isn't gaudy or childish. But, everything's artistic. But my art also has a political overtone that could be found in it. Sometimes there's a lot of elements of spoken word and just, buzzwords that I used it sort of fit into the context of the paintings and the energies that the colors give versus the verbiage of them.
Okay. Sounds quite interesting, and we're going to talk a bit more about your art when we come back. You're listening to Open Door Cleveland with Vince Robinson. I'm talking with Oba Obeah. He is a musician and, as he just indicated, a visual artist, and we're going to talk a bit more about his visual art when we return. This is 95.9 FM. WOVU, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. We'll be right back.
This program is sponsored by Citizens for Our Children's Future.
In these challenging days, Cleveland's children need Issue 68. It's a necessity for a better education, a better life. Issue 68 provides the teachers, programs, and technology that will keep reading and math scores rising and the graduation rate climbing. If Issue 68 fails, essential funding runs out, a severe setback for kids. Your vote will keep Cleveland's kids moving ahead. Vote for Issue 68.
Supported by Citizens for Our Children's Future and WOVU 95.9, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
What can you do in the battle against COVID-19? Your first task, wear a mask, protect yourself and others.
Armor up, armor up.
Give those hands a 20-second shower with soap and water.
Armor up, armor up.
Give others space 6 feet just in case.
Armor up, armor up.
Get good nutrition, ingest for digestion.
Armor up, armor up.
Vitamin C, D3, and more.
Armor up, armor up.
Elderberries, zinc, and echinacea from the store.
Armor up, armor up.
Get some fresh air. Go climb some stairs.
Armor up, armor up.
Let go of stress. Make sure you rest.
Armor up, armor up.
Your breath is the key to life. Strengthen your immune system, follow the guidelines, and win the battle against COVID-19.
Armor up, armor up.
WOVU 95.9 FM, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station, in conjunction with Rainbow Terrace and the Box Spot Retailers, presents the Box Spot Halloween Candy Kickback, Saturday, October 31st, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., 8005 Kinsman Road, right up the street from the WOVU studios. We will have live music with our favorite DJs, our music director, DJ Chris Styles, and the one and only DJ Coco Z. So come and kick it with us again for Halloween. Have some spooky fun in our giant haunted house. Lots and lots and lots of free candy, courtesy of the Candy Cupboard. Win gift cards for the best costume, contest for all ages, and registered voters can enter a raffle to win $20 Dave's Supermarket gift cards. Dance to your favorite music. Of course, line dancing will be on deck. And as always, you must wear a mask, and physical distancing guidelines will be enforced. So come on out, October 31st, the Box Spot Halloween Candy Kickback.
Special thanks to Rainbow Terrace and our Box Spot retailers, The Candy Cupboard, Our Favorite Things Boutique, JV Grill, and iSpecs Eyewear. We also give special thanks to Ward 5 Councilwoman Phyllis Cleveland, Citizens for Our Children's Future, Issue 68, PCs for People, the Cleveland Police Association, Empower Cleve, and of course, Burton Bell Carr Development Incorporated and WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
It's now the night.
We're back with Oba Obeah, musician and visual artist. And as he was saying before we went to the break, he's political in his art. So if you could tell us about some of the things that you have done as a visual artist, places that your work may have been exhibited, or ways that folks can see what you have done visually.
If anyone is interested in seeing my largest collection right now, it's at So Artsy. It's in Northfield Plaza in Northfield, Ohio. I don't know the address right off the top of my head, but if you just go to Google So Artsy, it'll come up. And Melinda Turner is the curator there, and she's a great woman, and she could direct people to my art there.
Okay, well, I just looked it up. It's at 10333 Northfield Road, and it's in suite number 148 in Northfield. So that's 10333 Northfield Road, Northfield, Ohio, suite 148.
Yeah.
So you have stuff in the studios there, and have you had your place, your work placed in other places?
Yes, I've had, like when I was incarcerated, I was one of the few prisoners who had a traveling art exhibit, because it was a way of being free. My art was out there moving around. And, I've been to I had work that was displayed in the underground that used to be below the Seven Entertainers. The underground was what is it called? A recreation center that was run by Sade Young. It was like a place where we would go and do music and art, and it was a nice collective of black artists.
Oh, the underground. That was over on St. Clair, right?
Yeah, over on St. Clair. Yeah, 148th and St. Clair.
Okay. Sade Young.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with her.
Yeah, and she helped me, get my art, out into the public. And I was hoping to, hit Larchmere this year, because I knew about that area in Coventry. But, I'm confident that it'll come in time. Yes. My art speaks for itself. So I'm not one of those that are really pushing it, even though I'm a starving artist nonetheless. Mm-hmm. Not like I'm wealthy and it'll come, but I'm confident in it, because people, I just look at the reactions that I get. And, I'd love to, bring some pieces there
Okay.
Put some up.
Well, actually, you just sparked something in my head because I'm involved in an effort to get some funding to individual artists, and this is the perfect opportunity to talk about that. Cuyahoga County just received $4 million to be passed out as COVID-19 relief funding for artists. So there are going to be some meetings this week. One is to take place today at 4:00. We're going to be meeting with the executive directors of Arts Cleveland and Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, which are two of the agencies that are charged with dispersing funding to arts organizations and artists in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. So I'm going to make sure I put links on this post so that folks will be able to take advantage of this opportunity to get some of these funds. I'll be transparent again and say that it's a limited amount of funding. There will be more folks who don't get it than those who do. But it's important for us to apply for this money because if they can pass it out before December 30th, there's a very strong possibility that this $4 million might be matched, or there may be additional funding out there for artists. And as I listen to you, I think that you might be one of those who qualify, unless, of course, you don't live in Cleveland. I think one of the stipulations is that you have to live in Cleveland or live in Cuyahoga County.
I'm in Cuyahoga County.
Okay, so if you're in Cuyahoga County, you would definitely qualify for this funding. So just so folks know, cacgrants.org and artscleveland.org. If you go to either of those websites, you can look into some of those things. Also, there's a Facebook page. It's called the Artist Bridge Coalition. Go to Artist Bridge Coalition on Facebook, and you can like that page. Like the page, and you will get updates and invitations to some of the things that we're doing to galvanize artists and see what we can do to make sure that folks get access to that funding. So let's go back to Oba Obeah, visual artist and musician, and you said that you were doing a few other things. So now's your chance to let us know what else you're up to.
Well, I play a drug dealer on a web series called The Connected. It's directed by Brandon X. Bell, and we're on Grow Ops Entertainment and G1 NBC. And, my character is developing as Brandon writes and becoming more center stage in plot line of the script. And I'm excited about that because, the only acting I've had ever been able to do up until that time was, minor stuff, things like, school plays and such. But, I always had a desire for it, so.
That's amazing. So you adding actor to your slashes.
Yeah. And I like being hands-on with the acting because it's teaching me the business of filmmaking as well. Because I would rather write and direct, because I think the money's in the writing, and I would love to direct.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it amazing that you get to a certain point in life and you start exploring possibilities that previously you may have only imagined, or maybe you never imagined, and now it's time for those things to happen?
Yeah, well, I've had 33 years of dreaming and preparation,
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the dream is a beautiful thing, but it, isn't going to be anything but a dream if you don't have a plan to go with it,
Mm-hmm.
And once you have a plan, it's like, a goal, you know what I'm saying? And then you start accomplishing them one level at a time,
yes.
And then things come into reality. Even, the fighting to get out all of those years. I didn't get it the way that I wanted it, but I'm free nonetheless. I take it how I could get it, you know?
Right. And could you talk about the role that art has played in your liberation?
Oh, yeah. I've used art to paint out the ugliness and to paint over, you know, the lies, you know, and paint the truth, you know. I had a painting that I did in a prison called Warm Welcome. It was some, like, settlers coming up onto the land where there was black people, and there was a fire blower that was blowing flames into his face, and it looked like, you know, George Washington falling backwards into the water. And, you know, that's the welcome they should have been greeted with
mm-hmm.
before, you know, coming in and, you know, raping and pillaging villages, you know, and everything that, you know, has been done to us. I mean, it's like everywhere that a flag is planted by the European, you know, there's blood, a bloody story that goes along with it, you know, and, you know, it's like with all of the racial climate and stuff there, I'm not saying these things out of hate. It's just that it's time for them to be voiced out in the open, you know?
Yes.
No more apologetically being black or you know, feeling guilty for what they've done, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I share some of my misery.
Okay.
I'm generous.
Tell me, when did you discover your artistic ability as a visual artist?
Very young. I used to go to a store in Maple Heights. It was a little dime store that sold, you know, candy and comic books, and I couldn't afford the comic books. So I would just look at Spider-Man or whatever and ingrain the picture into my head and go back and draw them myself and color them. And like, I had my own stories and I think that was my first, like, idea of script writing maybe, because I would create my own stories, you know, and, own books early on. And it was just like art was something I could always do in solitude, and it would, you know, actually helped me keep my sanity in prison, you know, because I didn't have nothing but a pebble to scratch on the floor of solitary confinement and draw a picture into the cement, you know, I might have gone crazy at times, you know.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And, you know, I'm one of those people who I discount the whole idea of 6 degrees of separation. You know, I think we're kind of down to 1 now. I used to say 3 degrees. Now it's like 1. So you mentioned Sade Young, who I know, and Sade Young is related to Gwendolyn Garth. And Gwendolyn Garth is someone like you who spent a period of incarceration and utilized art as a means of retaining her sanity. And I've been able to go with Gwendolyn to Grafton and meet with some of the brothers and that are incarcerated there and see how art has enabled them to thrive. So you have brothers and others over there who are performing classical music, they're painting paintings, and they're doing things to stay connected to art, and they're able to share their gifts with others. And then when they come out, they have something that they can continue to do to continue to stay sane despite the challenging circumstances that they're facing. Brother, I want to commend you for sharing your story with us today. And before we go, just give you an opportunity to let folks know how they can connect with you once again and how they can witness the things that you're doing as an artist.
My name is Oba Obeah. I don't have a website, but my studio is located at 28149 Miles Road, and it's right in the back of the Village Diner there. And I'm usually here 7 days a week.
Okay. All right. And you can also check him out on Facebook. His name there is Obadiah Obeah, and he's got in parentheses Oba Obeah, and it's Obadiah Obeah. So Go look him up. He's got room for friends and fans on his page. So if you want to check him out, you can check him out on Facebook. My brother, it again has been an extreme pleasure to have this conversation with you. Thanks for joining us on Open Door.
The pleasure's been mine, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. And thank you for listening. Know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. Make it a great day, Cleveland. Peace.
Peace.